Heavy trader. The Gospel of the Lord. So I'll start with a funny little story about St. Jude. That happens a lot in Peru, in Latin America. There's a huge devotion for St. Jude. And it's funny because over there, when someone receives like a miracle or a grace that was asking the particular saint, the people have the custom of having like a small little silver heart, and they hang those hearts onto like the chest of the saint that granted that grace. So it's kind of like a popularity contest, because you see the saints that are having like a lot of hearts, so you know, oh, this is delivering, so I better go with him. And it's incredible because in all these churches you have like a ton of all these saints, and St. Jude is like always like full of these silver hearts. And I was asking like someone, why does this happen? You know, I wasn't acquainted with this devotion, so they were saying, well, St. Jude is the patron saint for the impossible causes, you know. And I asked them, where did that come from? And that came from when one was completely desperate. This was long, long, long ago, and had already prayed to all the saints, and nothing had worked. When it was literally impossible, you would go to St. Jude and pray to St. Jude. And I'd ask, but why wait to the very end to pray to St. Jude? And they say because before they were afraid that they got confused and would pray to St. Jude, Jude Iscariot, and not St. Jude. So they said, well, I better hold that one to the end. And that's this crazy story of how he became the patron saint for the impossible causes, and very popular. You know, has anybody heard the last will be first and the first will be last? Well, there you go. St. Peter, who in our parish over there was beside him, had like literally almost no hearts. But anyway, that's a little story. I bring this whole story up because of the beginning of the gospel also. It says, Jesus went up to the mountain to pray, and he spent the night in prayer to God. This is a really important moment in the history of mankind in our church. The 12 apostles are being chosen. What does Jesus do in a really important moment in his life and whatever? He goes and prays a lot. I think that is a really important lesson to us, connected to the little story I said at the beginning. When we are in difficulty, sometimes when I confess people, especially Catholics who come to Mass and whatever, they sometimes confess, well, you know, I have to ask forgiveness because I only look for God when I'm in trouble. And I say, well, actually that part is really good, that you look for God when you are in trouble. You should look to God for God when you are also well, but especially when you're in trouble. So that's actually super good. And I think Jesus is teaching us that when you are in crisis, where do you go? There are people who are exhausted and stressed out. They go to Cancun or whatever. You know, now they can't, but whatever. You know, that's their kind of way to manage stress and anxiety. Other people go to booze, other people go to drugs, other people go to partying, other people go to hiking. Some better, some worse. Different people cope in different ways with struggle, anxiety, and difficult moments. Jesus teaches us the way to manage these things is go to God. Pray. The prayer has an incredible power. St. Jude is one of those who is a big witness of how powerful that prayer is. So always seek communion with God, with our brothers and sisters. That is the key to resolve any crisis.